大家好，非常高兴今天跟你们讲一下一些中国经济有关的问题。我是很早就到中国我是88级的人大的本科生原来是30多年以前到中国。我很高兴这几十年看到中国的发展。
How do you understand Chinese modernization, and in your opinion, how it differs from Western modernization?
Chinese-style modernization, I think, is similar to other countries' modernization in a sense that they have the same objectives, I would say. Everybody is aiming at relatively strong growth, which is inclusive and sustainable environmentally. So in that sense, it's quite similar to other countries. What is different is probably so far its achievements, especially on the first indicator, which is growth. Probably China has been performing much better than any other country, especially recently. And if we want to look at the details, how different it is, probably one of the most important aspects is the way to achieve these is quite well planned. So China's development, unlike in many other countries, is based on long-term, medium-term, and shorter-term plans. And these plans basically guide the economy and the economic actors towards achieving the goals. So there is much less uncertainty. So that was very good for catching up with more advanced economies. And that's how probably part of the success of China's growth story can be explained. However, I would also say that because China has already reached a certain level of growth and development, probably now it is time to also pay attention to income inequalities and also inequalities of opportunities in the population.
Thank you. You are expert on China's economy, and you have been following China's economic development for a very long time. So, in your opinion, what are the most impressive achievements of China's economic development over the past few decades?
I think the first one is the takeoff of Chinese economy, starting in 1978, and then following the increase in growth, and also the increase in incomes, and then also the reduction of poverty. I think this process is probably one of those that I would say it was a great achievement. Then another one was probably an injection of market forces, especially through privatization and through a greater involvement of the private sector in the economy. And probably a third most important I would cite is the more recent reform which have just started of product markets, which includes the tackling of monopolies by using anti-monopoly regulation to find those who are basically not following the laws, and also the administrative monopolies, which are now being abolished. So I would say this is a new round of big reforms that are being started. It will lead to a more efficient product market, and probably this will help at least to keep a reasonable level of growth. China has been contributing between 27-29% to global growth in the past decade or so. And when other countries are not doing so well, for instance during the pandemic, then China's contribution even reached like 1/3. So it is hovering between like 27 and 32-33%. That means that China is the major driving force of global growth. So because of that, growth in China is very important for all other countries. That is also related to China's role as a big trading country. Through these trading relationships, I mean, all other countries are benefiting from China's growth. So it's important to keep global growth high. It is also important to keep trade flows high. And China will play an important role in that.
In 2010, chance the economic growth rate of China was like 7 to 8% about, but now it's slowed down to like 5%. Some people say China's economy is in trouble. So how do you see this argument?
Well, I mean, I would just explain it by the traditional convergence theory, which says that as countries are becoming richer, that is, their per capita incomes rise, their growth rate will fall. So that's a law that I don't think any country so far has avoided, and I don't think China will be an exception. What is important is, so this is a way of communication. So people should understand that this is normal because incomes are rising, so growth will be slower. But what matters is the quality of growth. And that's what we have talked about. And what also matters is when or how, what patterns this will take. So what we foresee as the desirable way is a gradual slowing. So which means to keep growth rate at close to 5% or above 4.5%, there need to be structural reforms, and that's what the third plenum has recognized.
When it comes to China's economy, I feel some Western media, they are usually pessimistic, and recently they talk a lot about overcapacity. How do you see these judgments or arguments?
Well, as I said, if these processes are based on economic principles, I think it's a natural way of adjusting. It's a natural way of approaching the level of advanced economies in terms of economic development. I don't think we should make headlines just because growth is slower this year than last year, because again, it's a matter of communication. And on overcapacity, that's again, I think it's a matter of measurement. So overcapacity is something that is recognized by everyone, even though it exists for like 30 years, I would say. The first time I heard about overcapacity was in the 1990s. And, but at that time, nobody really paid attention, because at that time, the economy was growing fast, so nobody cared about it. But once the economy is slowing, then there is a more urgent need to make most out of the resources and to basically tackle all inefficiencies. And that's why I think now, when the economy reached that level, when it started to slow, it's more important to tackle overcapacity because it's a waste.